Okay, welcome to this little video where we are going to talk about the delusion theory. Let's talk about the social networks. I'm not I'm not I'm not going to talk about the digital social network. I'm going to talk with the traditional social network, the general social network on a society. For example, in a society, people are interacting all the time. So, what is the idea of these people? These people have different point of view, different point of view of a service or a product or a leader. I don't know, or another people. We can obtain a model about this social network. We can perform a graph thinking the idea of people that they can to connect each other across a path, across a path. So we can use a graph to model this. One people, two people, three people, four people, and people can be connected with different paths, with different paths. But how many paths one node could have? We don't have the answer because depends the position of the node. I mean, we can have a, a node with a high, very, very high number of connection to another individual node. But probably there is node with only one path or a very few amount of path or connection to another node. So in this case, we can talk that this node with a high, very high amount of paths are influencer, are influencer. And the people that don't have a high amount of paths are common, a common person, very common person. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. If we put a weight related to the path that connect different nodes, we can say that the amount of influence of this node J, I sub J, it's equal to the sigma of the weights product with the number of nodes. Okay? And the value of the nodes. Let's say you that each node has the value equal to 1. So we can say that the level of influence of this node and another nodes are this. Okay? So what happened if this node has a high value of EJ compared with another node, for example, this node, let's say the node A and the node B. What happened with this? And what happened if this node has a high level compared with a set of different nodes? Let's show you. I'm going to put a counter here. What happened? So in this case, this node has has the ability to communicate the idea in a very in a very important, I'm going to use the word important, in a very important way. In a very important way. For example, if this node wants to communicate an idea, probably this idea will be received for high amount of different nodes. So what happens if we want to ask to this node, to this individual node, about the idea? This node will have only the idea that got about this node. And the ideas from the another nearest node. That probably that the nearest node will have the same idea of each node. So in this case, this idea will be communicated in a high performance way. Okay? Let's think about that. If we have different nodes with a high level or one level or influence, and this node has a connection, so these nodes will have only connection with this node, and another nodes of the network will have only the idea of this another high influence node. Okay, so what is delusion here? What is delusion? Delusion is that this, the true, the ground true, the idea of true of these nodes are conditioned. The ideas are true or the ground true are conditioned about the weight of the influence of this node, and the true in the ideas of this node are conditioned by the weight of this node, high influence node. So we can conclude that in a social network, if you have only if you have only or a low amount of information source, probably you will have a bias in the idea of any topic, in any subject. And if you have a very high amount of connections or information source, probably you will have lower level of bias in the ideas that you are performing about a phenomenon. The same thing for social network, a digital social network. If your group of friends are followers of high influence coefficient, probably you will get a similar idea of them, and this is important for different topics of our daily life. For example, when we are choosing a public leader or no, because if you don't have a high level of connections in your social network, probably you will be uh, thinking in a biased way of the phenomena that you are observing in this time. And this is the idea why we can why we can sell a product. We can sell a product because if we want to improve the level of the amount of product that we want to sell, we need to increase the number of connections. Don't forget this, the number of connections. And don't forget this idea. Once we have a lot of connections, the idea for another node, we can't control the situation. We could transmit the idea in a very high performance way. So for sure, we can organize the behavior of people. Because these people only will have the idea of the high influence node and not the other ideas of another actors of the phenomena. We can control people, or we can control the behavior of people only managing the communication between nodes. So, what happens if we have the ability to manage the communication or manage the information per each node? So, if we have the ability to manage the connection, probably we will have the ability to manage the behavior of the nodes in the social network. This is a very important topic since the social network sometimes show us information in a conditioned way. So we can see that the behavior of each node of our graph is the probability of the behavior E conditioned by the information from the high influence node and the information of the nearest low influence node. If we control this term, we can control the behavior because this probability is conditioned of these connections. So this is the idea that I want to share with you about the illusion theory, because sometimes we think that phenomena that are phenomena of the nature of phenomena of our daily life is real, but sometimes it's only a function depending of the connections of us, the connections and the information source that show us the idea. This is the illusion theory. We can manage the reality only managing the connection between the nodes. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.